Hello and welcome. My name is Natty Cash and welcome to a new type of video. There's two things I'm doing that are different today. One is you can see my face for the first time. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if I'm going to do this every time, but I am here in the flesh ready to make a video for you. The second thing we're doing that I have not done on my channel is we're going to make weekly Premier League predictions. I want to keep this up and see how well I can do that over the course of the entire season. We'll see as best as I can and if I can keep up to those videos as we go along. But the new year is here. The start of the season is coming up. And let's get into our week one predictions, or at least my week one predictions. If you don't agree with the predictions that I have, you know what? Put your own predictions in the comments below, and I'm going to keep track of how many I get right throughout the year. So, starting off with on Friday night, Friday night, we have Manchester United, who were 8th last year, going up against Fulham, 13th last year. Fulham's now in their third consecutive season in the Premier League. When I look at this matchup with Manchester United at home, I see that they are the superior team here. They should get the win. I am hesitant sometimes with Man United because with smaller teams, they don't always perform as well as they should. But I am going to give them the win here, and I'm going to plug in a 2-1 victory here. There. 2-1 for Manchester United. Next, Ipswich Town coming into the Premier League. Newly promoted up against Liverpool. Again, Liverpool under new management. What is it going to look like without Jurgen Klopp at the helm? My prediction is this. It is Ipswich at home, and they are going to be fired up and motivated that they have Premier League football for the first time in a long while. And I know that at times Liverpool in the past has had defensive issues. So I am going to put a 2-2 draw. A barn burner there, and Ipswich is going to be pretty happy with that, I think. So I'm calling a draw between Ipswich and Liverpool. Again, that's kind of a risky one that I'm playing here, but let's see what happens there. Next, Arsenal, second in the league last year, only missed out by 2 points up against the Wolverhampton, the Wolves. In this case, I do see this being fairly one-sided. I do see a fairly commanding win. Not anything too crazy on the scoreline, but I think a 2-0 or a 2-0 win for Arsenal is a reasonable prediction to make. And Arsenal getting 3 points in the first week. Next up, Everton and Brighton. Everton is very solid defensively. They were allowed 51 goals, which was, I think, fourth best in the Premier League. They just can't score a lot. And so we'll see what that looks like. Brighton, again, under new management. De Zerbi is gone. What can the new manager bring into Brighton here? I think this is going to be a fairly standard kind of 1-1 draw. I don't think there's going to be too much between the two teams. I think Everton might have a tough time scoring, but they won't allow much. So I'm going with a 1-1 draw. Next, Newcastle, Southampton. Southampton have come back into the league after 1 year absence, but I don't think it's going to go well for them. I think Newcastle is going to kind of run through them. Southampton's used to playing a very big possession style, and I think Newcastle is going to maintain a lot of the possession, and the Southampton players are going to be a little bit out of sorts, and I think a pretty dominant 3-0 win for Newcastle there. Next, I have Forest and Bournemouth, and this one was tough for me to figure out who would be on top here. Bournemouth was a lot better last year, but with losing Solanke, are they going to have the same firepower? Forest, I don't believe in Nuno Santo. I don't really believe that he's going to get it done. So, but it's hard to tell first week. And so I'm going to call this another, it's tough. I think I'm going to back Bournemouth to just squeak out a 1-0 win away and Bournemouth gets the victory here. That's a tough one, but I think Bournemouth's squad is still a little bit better, even though Forest, I think, did decently to bring in some new players. I just don't think they're going to gel well, and I don't believe their manager is the right pick for them at this moment. So I am going to say they're going to lose. Bournemouth 1-0 win. West Ham, Aston Villa. Very interesting matchup here. Lopetegui at West Ham. What can he do there? Unai Emery, after an incredible fourth place finish for Aston Villa, can they repeat that success? I think this is going to be a back and forth game, and this is going to be another game I'm going to state as going to be a 2-2 draw. It's going to be hard to know between the two. I would maybe favor Aston Villa, but they are on the road to West Ham, so I'm going to call this as a draw in my books. Next up, Brentford versus Crystal Palace. Again, this is an interesting one. Brentford starting to move closer to the relegation spot last year, down in 16th. Still at a reasonable goal difference, only like -9 for being in 16th. But and then Crystal Palace seems to be just consistent every year, being in that mid-table area. It's again, these are tough. Week 1, I'm gonna go with this one also being a draw, although it's going to be a 1-1 draw between Brentford and Crystal Palace. Again, I don't really know if there's too much between these two teams. Next, we have Chelsea and Manchester City. Enzo Maresca up against Pep Guardiola. Can Maresca do something with Chelsea and bring them success, which they've been craving for, or is it going to be another manager in the merry-go-round of all managers going through Chelsea? Well, I think right now it's going to be hard to really gauge that because they're up against Man City, and Man City is going to be prepared coming into this. I think a fairly certain 2-0 win for Man City is going to be the decision there. And lastly, in Leicester, newly promoted Leicester, but not with Maresca, but with Steve Cooper, up against Tottenham and Ange Postecoglou. I think Tottenham are gearing up for a good year this year. Yes, it's not the perfect team, but I think they can do well, and I think they're going to start off well, and they're also going to get a 2-0 victory against Leicester. So those are my predictions for week 1. If you want to differ or have a discussion, leave a comment down. Please like and subscribe, as I'm still new to this and still expanding what I want to do for this channel. So if you like what I do, like and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.